Text: 1 Peter 4, verse 12 to 19, titled The Fiery Trial and the Glory Revealed. The apostle speaks to a people standing at the edge of a great transition, a moment charged with tension where suffering and glory meet in a single unfolding purpose. His words are not merely pastoral comfort, they are interpretive. He unveils the meaning of their present distress within the larger movement of divine fulfillment. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. The suffering of these believers is not accidental, nor is it detached from covenantal history. It is the expected outworking of an age reaching its appointed conclusion. The fiery trial is not merely personal affliction, but a refining fire that corresponds to the dissolution of an old order. The language itself echoes prophetic imagery: fire as judgment, fire as purification, fire as the means by which what is passing away gives way to what is established forever. Peter removes the element of surprise. This is not foreign, it belongs. But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that, when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. Their suffering is participation, not imitation at a distance, but a real sharing in the Messiah's own experience. His suffering marked the end of one covenantal world. Theirs marks their union with him in that same climactic moment. Yet the emphasis is not on suffering as an end, but as the pathway to unveiled glory. The revelation of his glory is not set in a distant, undefined future. It is imminent within their horizon. The glory about to be revealed stands in contrast to the visible structures and systems that were then shaking. What is unseen is about to become manifest. What is temporary is about to yield to what is permanent. If ye be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and of God resteth upon you. Reproach becomes evidence, not of abandonment, but of divine presence. The Spirit of glory rests upon them, not as a future promise, but as a present reality. Their identification with the name brings with it both suffering and confirmation. The very reproach they endure signals that they belong to the realm that cannot be shaken. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified. Two perspectives emerge. From one side, there is rejection, misunderstanding, and hostility. From the other, there is glory. The same reality produces opposite interpretations, depending on one's position relative to what God is accomplishing. What is despised in one sphere is honored in another. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. A distinction is made. Not all suffering carries the same meaning. There is suffering that arises from participation in divine purpose, and there is suffering that arises from disorder. The former bears witness, the latter does not. Peter isolates the kind of suffering that belongs within the unfolding redemptive moment. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf. To suffer under this name is not a cause for shame, but for glorification. The identity itself, Christian, is bound up with the transition taking place. It marks those who belong to the reality inaugurated through Christ, standing in contrast to the system that is fading. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of God. The moment is present. The time is come. Judgment is not postponed. It is underway. It begins at the house of God, not as condemnation of those who belong to him, but as the necessary purging and transition of what had been central in the previous age. The house is the focal point of covenantal life, now undergoing transformation. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of God? The logic unfolds. If those aligned with the new reality experience this refining process, what of those who remain bound to what is passing away? The contrast is not merely moral, but covenantal, between those who receive the good news and those who resist it within that historical moment. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? The language reflects urgency and intensity. Scarcely does not imply uncertainty, but difficulty within the process, deliverance through a narrow and pressing transition. The righteous pass through the fire. The ungodly face the same moment without refuge. Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of God commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful Creator. The conclusion gathers everything into a single act of trust. Their suffering is according to the will of God, not random, not outside divine intention, but precisely aligned with it. The appropriate response is not resistance, but entrustment. The faithful Creator, who orders all things according to his purpose, holds their souls secure even as the visible world around them is shaken. Thus, the passage stands as a window into a decisive moment. Suffering interpreted as participation, judgment understood as transition, and glory revealed in the midst of upheaval. What appears as fire is, in truth, the unveiling of what cannot be consumed.